Saturday night. Glad to have you aboard tonight. Thank you for joining us in the Scizone. I'm Bill Bocheers. I'll be with you for the next few, probably an hour or so, and we'll be taking your phone calls against some of the topics of the day and some of the interesting stuff. I see here we've got 282 days, 13 hours, 59 minutes, and counting the seconds till Bush is done. A lot of stuff to get through tonight, but I thought I'd give you that update because you won't have to worry about it now that we've got the timing down on it. An update because of all of your email and because of the large number of people that are watching, probably not live tonight, but on the internet. Thank you for tuning us in and telling your friends about us. I got telephone call all this week from people who are interested in Iraq and as being, shall we call them, the friends of Iraq or Iraq, whichever you prefer. Iraq is a place that you can't get any information from unless you are looking inside. I am so confused, and I don't mean that I'm confused. I see it and I understand it. We have been hammered with the propaganda that Iraq, the war, and the war on this terror and all that stuff, that it's bankrupting America. We're going to look at that in some reality terms tonight, take a reality check, and do some comparative things. And by the way, I'll be happy to get any of you the websites because all of this has been substantiated, not necessarily but me, but by a lot of people looking into it. We've got a lot of concern. Oh, by the way, before I forget it, we've got 2 movies this week, and you need to get to WBQC.com, register to get yours. The first one is, the first one actually is The Forbidden Kingdom. You may have seen it. It's the Jackie Chan and what's that other guy's name? Jet Li, thank you. These guys are the martial arts and some violence, sequence of martial arts and action and some violence. I heard an interview this week with Jackie Chan, and they absolutely had a ball doing it, and I think you'll probably enjoy that movie. The other one is Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Now, this is, it's been commonly called a chick flick, but I think the guys will get into it. That's Thursday. So we got a doubleheader this week, Wednesday night and Thursday night. Tickets for both. I'll see you there. If you got a chance, join me. Love to see you. And WBQC, register, get your name in the pot. You got tickets. We got them. Anyway, Mr. Paul Staud will be here, as I said, with me right after the break. We're going to break here in a minute. But I've got a clip for you from a guy who calls himself Uncle Jay. And after Mr. Staud, or Paul, the live call-in, I want you to see this because he does something that you hear about it, but you really don't put any, how can I say it? A picture is worth 1,000 words. And when you see the calendar of events that he does, you'll understand why we don't get anything for our money out of the Congress or the Senate. And his name is Uncle Jay. He's an award-winning guy, does a marvelous, funny job for kids. And if your kids are in bed, which they should be by this time, you'll enjoy this. This is some humor. But I'm not done there. I want to say a special good evening or hello to all the people that are watching this on the internet. As I understand it, there are a lot of people going there that have never seen this show live, but are going to the internet because people are telling them about it. And that's a good thing. You can go to WBQC, and over on the right-hand side, you'll see the word Scizone in green. And all you have to do is click on that, and it'll take you to the latest version. Now, one of the guys who puts that up has been on vacation. Either that or he's vacation, I'm told. He just spoke to my ear and said vacation. And he'll be with us. Tonight, we will be taking your phone calls when we come back. Mr. Paul Staud will be with me here talking about Iraq and some of the phenomena that's going on there in the way people are not only perceived, but what's actually going on the ground. All we see is people, and I say this so often, and it's getting to be old hat, people kicking in the doors, or, the guards, and that's understandable. But we're really not told the truth. We really aren't. And by not being able to get a hold of information to make a choice, you're held at bay by the government, and George can continue to lie. Whether you see, if that's all the Republicans have got for a candidate, I'm scared, and I'm not real keen on the two Democrats they got running too. So, having said that, George Bush will be done, as I said, in 282 days. We'll be out from under his lordship, and thank God. Jeez, it can't happen soon enough for me. The point I'm making is that we can't get any information. We're going to put some of that together for you right now, right after this. You want me to take a pause in the action now? Let's go to break, and I'll get my earpiece turned up a little bit, and we'll be right back after this. Stick around. Don't go away. We got more for you and your phone calls, too. Thank you. In the Scizone tonight, and I want to thank my guests waiting online here. There are about 10 individuals and about 20 outside of that group that are doing research to the tune of about 110 to 15 hours a day, just to round up news about Iraq. And if you are an individual who has of recently, or maybe some time ago, made an investment in Iraqi dinar and you can't find information, I had a lot of telephone calls and emails saying thank you for the stuff that you put up. So tonight, without further ado, let me give you my good friend Paul. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, Bill, I'm here.
I can barely hear him, but that's all right. Paul, can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you. Is that a little better?
Okay. Hey, Paul, I guess I should say thank you for you and the research group that you guys, the Hunt Club, and it's affectionately called that because you guys are always hunting and digging out information that you don't see in the mainstream media. And it's so easy today to get confused by all the propaganda that the government doesn't want you to talk about or doesn't want you to know. Particularly, they don't want you to know it about Iraq, for God's sakes. And you would think they would want you to be able to formulate an opinion. Would you agree?
Oh, it's so true, Bill. Right now, what you have in the government, you're hearing from different people where they want to restrict or censor the information across the internet. If we were to listen to just mainstream media and the government's take on Iraq, we would only want to see it return to burned out cinders. But our group has found out that it is a vibrant country that cares about its people.
Yes.
They only want peace, and they want to move forward and bring their people out of a 6th century mentality to the 22nd century. And they're very dedicated to those principles. And the information is just mind-boggling that we're able to turn up. And we've not heard a single word of what we've received and shared with other members anywhere on the news media here in the United States.
Is it that they don't want to know, or do you think that there's a media blackout on it?
In my humble opinion, if you keep the public from knowing the truth, the only truth they have is what is being given to them.
I see.
And it's easily to sway them towards those purposes.
Give me an example of what you found.
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bill.
Of something that you found that is predominant. We know, and this is going to come up because people are going to ask. They're going to ask about the Iraqi dinar and its revaluation of. Now, don't call up and say, when is it going to reval? That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the support elements that can cause it to get into position. I know that and when we talked earlier today, a lot of the laws that some of the people listening may not be familiar with are not only passed, they're being implemented as we speak. Is that right?
That's very true. And how we learn about that, Bill, is we look at the whole picture of Iraq's economy, where they're going, their business dealings, their financial institutions, their education and training, and most important is the outside countries that are investing into Iraq, not solely for their oil, but to rebuild their infrastructures, their schools, factories.
Now, Paul,
it is just unbelievable.
Paul, does you and your research outfit, the Hunt Club, do they have access to people in Iraq giving them information about situations, or what is it?
Oh, yes, I just got off the phone with what we jokingly refer to as our boots on the ground from one of our people receiving pertinent information and sharing information with them. And it is very vital that we get this information. And surprisingly, what people don't realize is they're not only Americans or our troops over there, it's other people within the economy and structure of Iraq itself. They want this information to get out because they know it's not getting out.
Paul is, and I'll ask you point blank before somebody else does, are we looking at a possible revaluation of the Iraqi dinar at any time soon?
In my humble opinion, from the information we've received, I would say very soon. A lot of people don't understand the term of soon. They seem to think it's imminent, it's going to happen within the next 10 minutes. But it moves at its own pace, but all the indicators are the requirement of the laws and regulations and the infrastructure are there.
All right. Paul, don't go away. Can you stick around with me for a few minutes here? I've got to go to break. When we come back, we've got more questions and phone calls. Can you take some phone calls?
Yeah, I'll try to answer them as best I can.
All right. We'll be right here. We'll come right back with my guest, Paul Staud. He is an analyst for the Hunt Club. Stick around. We got more to do. Hey, we're back in the Scizone. My name's Bilbo Shears. Online with me is Paul Staud. Paul, I'm sorry didn't mean to drop you like that.
No problem, Bill.
Paul, can we take some phone calls?
Sure, no problem. I'll answer as best I can.
We'll see what we got here. Stuart, you're on the line with Paul. Go ahead.
I want to know about the 50,000 soldiers over there in Iran, the Chinese soldiers ready to head for Iraq at a moment's notice.
We've got 50,000 troops ready to go to Iraq.
50,000 Chinese troops in Iran ready to go to Iraq, yes, at a notice.
Where did you get that? I haven't heard anything about that.
From my military sources.
Your military source, okay.
Yeah, you can ask...
let's go to Julie. Julie, you're on the air with Paul.
Yes?
Go ahead, dear.
Oh, hello. Who am I talking to?
Well, you're talking to Bill.
Oh, hey, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Oh, it's great. Well, you know what, Bill? I really appreciate the political views that you show on your program.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with it, but Bush is a dead horse.
As far as I'm concerned, he is.
You know, and you can't get any farther with that. You know, it's like dragging the horse to water. So, Bill, I want to know when we're going to go back to the regular stuff that you have on your show.
I couldn't tell you. All I can tell you is by what really drives it is the responses in the email and the people who say, would you cover this, would you cover that? I'll take what you're saying under consideration, be happy to.
I'd love it, Bill. I love your show. But you know what?
But, yeah, here comes the
Bush
but.
is totally done, and we need to move forward.
Well, I'm not sure that moving forward by...
Well, we need to think of the future and think of who we're going to vote for and who's going to push this country. I mean, Iraq is totally wrong, and Bush is a dead horse. And, you know, I love your Scizone show, and I love the fact that you talk about different things besides just the politics.
Okay. Well noted. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Well, as you can see, Paul, everybody has an opinion about something. Whether or not
Well, if I can bring one point out that I found very alarming, because we're able to understand what's really happening in Iraq and what's happening with the government and restrictions.
Yeah.
During the Petraeus hearings, I heard Hillary and several of the other candidates lambash for Petraeus, who has no control over the issue, about why tax dollars are being spent on Iraq to rebuild their economy and their structure.
Exactly.
They have billions of dollars in funds. But what they didn't tell anybody was that's under UN control mandate, and the Iraqi people and their government cannot touch the money. If they were to release it, they would be more than happy to start building with it.
Isn't that strange? I wonder why they don't want them to have their own money. You think it's going to be like the oil for food debacle that they, when they finally do start producing oil and this, that, and the other, that they...
Well, actually, that is what it's all about. We are talking about the oil for food trust fund that's in there in New York.
Oh.
5% of that is being used to pay back Iraq over a 5-year period of time for damages that they did during the invasion. And the other was to be held to pay for the food subsidies, which they pay to provide food and necessary items to their people in Iraq.
Well, we're told
the vast majority of it they can't touch.
Well, we're told all the time that we're spending billions of dollars there, but it seems to me what I've been able to deduce from this is that we're paying that billions of dollars to things like Halliburton and the cronies of Bush and Cheney. The people don't get that money.
Well, you do have a lot of things that's awful hard to understand where I've seen reports where they're charging the government $17, $18 for a meal for a soldier. And we all know that it's, you know, gee, go down to McDonald's for $2.50, you're good to go.
Good to go is right. Hey, we'll take your phone calls, 513-381-3838. Jump in. There's a couple lines open. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I like your program. I like things you have to say. Opposing viewpoints, the way you let them on, I appreciate that. Everybody's talking about how Bush is coming up and Bush is going out. Well, I'm a former veteran of Beirut. I was on closest ship to shoreline when the embassy in Beirut was blown up. I know how these people are a little bit more than the average person because when I was there, what I've seen, these people shoot everything in the day and burn everything at night. There's nothing but chaos to what they do. My question is, sure, Bush is leaving and he's not the best, but we come up with, oh God, Clinton, or somebody who doesn't oppose these things.
Not only do they not oppose it, they don't understand it.
What are we going to look for then? I mean,
it's the biggest debacle going. Obama don't know anything, and Clinton, she's off busy fighting someplace in Bosnia, and she's going to come out pretty soon and tell us how she fought at Iwo Jima and then Pork Chop Hill. She's got more crap than a Christmas turkey. I just can't believe this woman.
Yeah, and the thing I'm looking at is, if we get a Republican in there, like I was in the military under Reagan, and you know, power for peace in the military does mean something. If we let that decline, what's going to happen? We're going to look at another 9/11. We're going to look at more terrorist action.
Well, first off, if we get somebody that's got enough sense just to close the damn border, I'd be tickled to death. You can't find anybody with enough cojones to close the border because we're getting too many drugs. We're getting a lot of drug traffic, and we're getting a lot of cheap help. And we're going to get into that in the next segment. So stick around, Jeff. We'll cover a lot of it. I appreciate the call, though. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's go to, I believe it's Chanel. Is that it?
I just don't know why you don't like Brock, because his grandfather was a Zulu warrior, and he can go over and ride and take it.
You know what? You ought not call. You're one of those people I would say you ought not call till you get it together, because you can keep them laughing. Paul, are you there, sir?
Oh, I'm still here, and I heard you talking about Obama and Hillary. During that hearing, what surprised me is Hillary outright said that from what she could glean from the news media, that Iraq was a total failure. And I sat there and said to myself, I picked my jaw off the ground and said, First Lady, cabinet meetings, a senator, she's got the power to pick up the phone and get dossiers on you and me in a heartbeat.
Anybody. She can find out information from she's got the armed services, she's got the Pentagon, she's got any general she wants to talk to, and she tells us that she gleans it from CNN? Are you kidding me? You got to be 3 stages.
Yeah, and the hard thing for me to sit back and, I want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but when I see the schools being built, the support from Maliki for these raids and the stopping of the killing and the different government supports, I mean, we just read where Kurdistan sent their delegation in early to vote and approve the oil law in Baghdad.
You know what? I guess I have to keep looking at it and keep going. I don't know how you keep them. I shake my head every time I see one of the senators or congressmen, whoever they are. They get up and they start talking, orating, and they start telling everything they know, which has nothing to do with anything. Do you realize they really
John Wayne said it best.
They actually think that they have some influence over, first, a sovereign republic country that is now a republic. And they think
that is very definite. We're actually seeing that in the documents where they're signing Republic of Iraq.
Yes. And so it's just kind of over the Congress and Senate's head. They don't get the big picture. You don't have any influence there. And they really make an ass out of themselves every time they do that. Obama and Hillary and McCain, particularly McCain, somebody ought to get him and lead him off stage. Just take him off stage, lead him over there. Your telephone call is 381-3838 if you've got an opinion on Iraq or the money we're spending there or not spending there, the propaganda is into it. We'd like to hear from you. My guest tonight, Paul. Paul, first off, I want to thank you for taking the time to come in here and set some of the records straight. Paul,
no problem. I wish you guys would stream this over the internet so a lot more people to have access to this information. There's a lot of us in the Hut Club that would love to be able to tune you in almost on a nightly basis.
Paul, I know you're calling from Arizona, and I know that you can't get this show live there, so we are putting it up in archive form and people can get it there. That's the best way for the time being. And that number, by the way, if you want to get in, is 381-3838. I'd like to talk with you. Paul, in the meantime, what is the next agenda? What is the guys in the Hunt Club, what are they after? What are they looking for?
We're actually looking for the dinar to start coming up on the Forex and start trading. This is the key factor because of the cost or the lost value of the Iraqi dinar to pay for building materials, much needed supplies. It's awful hard to have your pay for services from an outside company,
Sure.
and you're actually losing large sums of potential money.
Paul,
You're
stay.
overpaying in the long run.
When we come back, we got to take a pause. After we come back, I want to get into that and explain that a little bit. We'll talk a little bit more about it. We'll take a pause, Jackson, and come right back with your phone call right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Booch here. Stick around. In the Scizone, my guest tonight, Paul Staud. Paul, thank you for joining me. Let's go right back to the phone. Let's get to Beverly. Beverly, thank you.
Hi, I have a question.
Please, go right ahead.
Is there proof to the young men that are recruited from the military to go to Blackwater? Number one, they don't pay Social Security or pay taxes. And my second is...
Ma'am, you're fading in and out. You must be on a cordless phone. And
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Is it better now?
It's better now. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any proof to the rumor I'm hearing that young men that are recruited from the military that go to Blackwater, number one, they get paid 3 to 4 times of the regular military guys, and number two, they don't pay Social Security or taxes or into Medicare or anything? I'd like to know that if anybody has the answer.
You know what? I really, honest to God, couldn't hear your question. It fades in and out and waves in and out. Could anybody hear what she said?
I have a cold. I'm sorry.
No, it's not your cold. It's your phone.
Okay.
You want to know what the guys are going to Blackwater? Do they pay taxes or what? Is that what it was?
Yes, sir. They don't pay taxes. They don't pay any Social Security. It's all tax-free income. And on top of that, they're getting paid 3 to 4 times what the average vet...
I do know that they are making good money, and I do think, though, that if you are an American citizen, you have to pay taxes anywhere you go, whatever you do. Now, I could have that wrong. I don't know. But it's tax time. We'll find out. I appreciate it, Beverly. Thank you.
Thank you.
I really don't know the answer to that. Paul, do you know the answer to that?
It was something that I had covered, about 3 months ago. I believe that there's a certain provision in there.
Okay.
Under their contract terms. However, they earn every penny of it.
Yeah, they sure as hell do. Gilby, you're on the air with Paul. Go ahead.
I have an idea on this illegal alien problem we have in this country.
Yeah.
First of all, when we apprehend these people and put them in jails and whatnot, is there any way that we can put these people to sleep? I mean, they're not subject to the Constitution anyhow because they're here illegally. I'm talking about if you put them to sleep and then put a chip in them somewhere that when we send them across or deport them, that we can track them where they come back across.
Oh, God. Do you realize that's a great idea? I'll take that up with my congressman right away. And I'll tell you what, can you imagine how many chips we'd have to have? And how in the hell are you going to... Oh, Jesus, that's a great idea, though. Great idea. I appreciate it, Gilby, but I don't think it's got a snowball chance in hell. But thanks a lot. I mean, I appreciate the attempt. It's a great idea, but I don't know what the hell we do with it. Let's go to Ben. Ben, you're on the air with Paul. Go ahead.
Hey, Bill, I got 2 questions for you. The first one is, have we not been fighting in Afghanistan longer than we've been fighting in Iraq?
It is my understanding. I believe so. Is that right, Paul?
So. Yeah. What makes this crazy hillbilly in the White House think that we can win the war in Iraq when we can't even win the war in Afghanistan?
You just insulted a lot of people, buddy, calling him a hillbilly.
Well,
that moron.
What makes anyone in this country think we can win the war in Iraq? We can't win the war in Afghanistan. That's all I got to say. Thanks, Bill.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. You know what? He said it right. He did say it right, Paul. Nobody's ever said anything about winning, but that's what I think they think. Go ahead.
Well, you have to look at the statistics on that, Bill. It took less time for us to invade and capture Iraq than it took Hillary Clinton to find her law firm papers. And whenever you have governments that interfere with their soldiers on the ground and their progress,
Yes.
you can't expect to win any war, especially
Not at all.
when they start talking about how it's unobtainable and unwinnable.
Yes.
Now, you've heard about the failures that Hillary's saying in Iraq. Let me just bring you up to speed on just one little bit of information here.
Hit it.
Since the pre-war, Iraq is actually spending over 30 times the money on their health care. And since then, over 3 million children have received life-saving vaccinations.
Yes.
They have over 140 health care facilities
Wow.
that have been completed and one major hospital under construction, including the training for nurses and primary health care givers.
Who said the surge wasn't working? Hell,
Right,
that's
and
got
they've
that's
got over 3,000 schools have been completed since June 2004. These people are moving forward. They're succeeding. But if you listen to the Democratic Party, they're a bunch of goat herders. They're not.
You know what? If there's anybody goat herding, it's that Democrat Party. I'll tell you,
It's terrible.
That's where the goat herding's taking place, Paul. Let's go to Norm. Norm, you're on the air talking to Paul. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a comment on this stuff. All the people that want our troops out of out of Iraq and so forth.
Yes.
They want to pull them out of there, and of course, the minute they pull them out, what's going to happen? All of this radical Islam things are going to take these countries over, and in 5 years, we're going to be in the biggest trouble you ever saw in your life. They're going to be over here bombing us.
How do you think they'll get here?
Huh?
How do you think they'll get here?
How do you think they'll get here? With oil money. How else? They're the ones that control all the oil money.
They'll just take that oil money and buy a plane or something, right?
Well, that's what they've been hijacking planes for how many years?
Yes, they have.
And then the other comment I want to make on the thing, all these comments, and of course I call her Hillbilly Rottenham Clinton.
There you go.
And I call him Break Your Back Obama. And they all have these wonderful ideas. This is wrong with this country. We're going to do this. This is wrong with this country.
Yeah.
Not a one of them have any idea how they're going to accomplish it or how much money it's going to cost. You don't hear them saying anything about that at all.
Never bring it up, do they?
They never bring it up. You know, they have all these wonderful ideas they're going to do, but they don't have any idea how they're going to accomplish it.
Norman, do you think they just get an idea and stick their finger up in the air and go for which direction it's going to go and take off after it? Do you think that's what it is?
Well, I don't think they stick their finger up in the air. I think they stick it a little lower than that.
Oh, Norm, you've got to stop that. This is Saturday night. You got to straighten up now. Norm, I appreciate the call. Thank you, sir.
Well, you're entirely welcome.
Thank you. Let's go.
Bill, can I give you an observation?
Please go right with somebody. Would go ahead. Go ahead.
Since we follow the news media over there and what's happening actually on the ground for quite a few sources, we've noticed that whenever they went into Basra to take out Staud and his militia,
yeah,
Staud sued for peace. He was going to surrender his weapons. Then all of a sudden, Hillary Clinton, Obama, and several other of the Democratic Party started coming out in the news that this push was failing, it wasn't doing any good, and that Staud was more popular and was winning the hearts of the people in Basra. And all of a sudden, the news media over there started reporting where the militia were refusing to turn their weapons and disband, causing more problems where Maliki had to go in a second time to take them out. And in the process, we finally saw where they were reporting that militia was turning their weapons in, the citizens were turning in the weapon caches, and I mean, we're talking about weapon caches with long-range rockets, rocket-propelled grenades,
by the way,
heavy explosives.
Paul, was any of that carried here in the States on any of the news media?
Not a bit.
Not a bit. Paul, stick around. We got more to do, and your phone calls right here tonight in the Scizone. I'm Bill Bocheers. Thank you for joining me. Paul, don't go away. We got more to do. We're back in the Scizone. What remaining time we got left? When somebody hangs up, jump in, 381-3838. Paul, thank you for sticking around here. Let's go right back to the phones. Let's go to Mike. Mike, you've been there the longest. Go ahead.
Mike.
Mike, you're on the air. Mike, you're listening to the television. Talk to me. Well, that works. Thanks, Mike, for calling. Lee, you're on the air with Bill. Go ahead.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. I like your program very, very much.
Okay, thank you.
But you know, for the last 2 weeks, we've been talking about the war
Yes, ma'am?
and our boys.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that very much because we do need our boys back home. What I'm wanting to ask is maybe next week you could bring up the situation about the Medicare, the medicine, the doctors, that these people, poor people, middle-class people, are not getting.
Okay.
It is really, really, really getting rough out there.
I appreciate the call there. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Lee obviously has some information she wants to get out. Let's go to, I guess is it George? I guess it's George. You're on the air with Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah. This world, the only way we're going to change things ain't with bombs and hate, it's with the love. Lao Tzu, ancient, do the Tao. Do the Tao.
Do the Tao.
That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That's all he's got to say. Just do the Tao, Paul, and that'll do it, you know. You have to convince the Al-Qaeda to do the Tao, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go to Cindy, I believe. Cindy, you're there.
Yes. Hi, Bill.
How you doing tonight?
Fine, thanks.
I'm so glad.
I had a question about the Iraqi dinars.
Yes.
I was under the impression that the World Trade Organization was thinking about taking Iraq in, and that when they took Iraq in, that it would have a big effect on the dinar, like they would set, like price or something against the dollar.
It's my understanding that was offered and they rejected it some time ago.
Oh.
And I don't think you need the World Trade Organization to okay anything if once you place your monies on the Forex or in some type of a basket to be presented to the world. I don't think that the World Trade Organization or anybody else is going to stand in the way of this.
Okay, so if it goes on the Forex, then it's going to be traded currencies just like the other currencies are, that it rises and falls and
Absolutely,
stuff.
absolutely.
Okie dokie. So just out of curiosity, do you happen to know if people in this country who have dinars, how are they going to, cash them in, let's say?
See, people buy stuff. Paul, have you ever heard that question before?
Oh, it's constantly, Bill. Actually, a little bit of information. There is a lot of wholesale trading of the Iraqi dinar going beyond that the public isn't aware of. And they look at the value of the Iraqi dinar as 1,204 or 1,205 to $1 US. But we've been watching for the last 2 weeks where there's been wholesale trading where the value has changed as much as to 1,180 or even higher in value, and then switch back in the wholesale trading. They are getting very ready to do this. Now, several banks we've been getting information on, and again, you have to check where you bought your dinar. If you bought it through Chase Bank, some of them will actually exchange your money for US dollars at a markup price of some of them as much as 2%. Now, that's quite a bit of money. Now, another person who is going to be doing it, who sells, is a guy by the name of Ali with dinartrade.com. He's a very highly related person here in our community. We think very highly of him. He's a very good businessman, and you can go to his website, and he, after this thing starts trading, will buy them back.
There you go. See, now you call in here and you get your everything taken care of in one fell shop. We appreciate the call, Cindy. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And moving to, I guess it's Don. Don, you're on the air with Paul. Go ahead.
Good evening, Bill and Paul.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Doing well, sir. Go ahead.
I've noticed something lately. Okay, right before the Persian War, going down the expressway, 75, 71,
Yeah.
and the railroad tracks coming north,
Uh-huh.
military equipment. Not
Yeah.
old, but brand new.
Brand new.
Lately, I've been seeing, I work in same company, two different buildings.
Uh-huh.
One in Westchester, one in Deerfield Township. I've noticed the tracks, brand new tanks, monsters. You ought to see these things. and other equipment. You know, I don't even know the technological name of these equipment they're using today. 71 the other day, I seen a convoy of Hummers coming down the expressway. I thought, oh my God, the manure's going to hit the fan again. Every time I've seen this, something's happened.
Well,
Persian Gulf, Bosnia. Now we're back over in Iraq, Afghanistan. It's the same. I'm telling you, something's going down.
Okay, I appreciate your observation, sir. I got to run. Thank you, sir. There's a guy's got his eye out the window looking at the railroad tracks, and things are happening, according to him. But right here, right now, we're going to take a pause in the action. My good buddy Paul will be right back with your phone calls, 381-3838. Don't go away. We got more to do, and you're it, right here in the Scizone. We're back already. See there how long that didn't take long? My guess is Paul Staud. Paul, thank you for joining me tonight. We got a couple of phone calls. We'll get to them, and I'll let you go, Paul. First, let's go to Mike. You're there, Mike. Go ahead.
Hello, how you doing today?
Doing well, sir. Go ahead.
Yes, my opinion on this whole war,
yes.
I feel it's basically a whole setup to undermine us, to basically to manipulate and control the minds of the masses, sir.
Okay.
See, it's like a big picture. Everybody's talking about the war this, war that, but don't know it's a big war on our security here at home in our country.
Yes.
A war on our freedom. They cause order out of chaos. They bring about order. This is how we're going to do it.
But in doing so, sir, they take away your freedoms and mine too. That part
Exactly.
That's the part that nobody, they get that part of chaos and order out of chaos, but they forget about what if a few good men do absolutely nothing.
And also, I just heard they just now passed a law for nationwide electronic identification. And by 2009 or 12, they will have worldwide electronic identification.
You bet they will. And by the way,
also,
sir,
not only that, but electronic currency also.
I appreciate the call, Mike. Thank you, sir. Good update. Thank you. Let's go to Janet. You're on the air.
Hi, Bill. How you doing tonight?
Doing well. Thank you.
Hey, I just have a comment to you. I wish you was on earlier. I've been spreading your word all over and trying to get people to listen, but you're on so darn late. And then after I listen to your program, I'm so mad about the economy and everything else, then I can't sleep. So
God,
we
I'm
need you
sorry.
to get on earlier. Spread the word.
I'll do it. I'll tell them in the front office you said that.
That's right.
Thank you, dear.
Like I said, I really enjoy your show.
I enjoyed your call. Thank you. Anytime.
Okay,
We'd love to
thank
have
you.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Paul, thank you for joining me tonight. I'm out of time. I got to run, but thank you for being there. And by the way, give my regards to the guy in the hunt club and tell him to keep hunting.
Well, I will do that, Bill, and just remember one thing.
What's that?
According to the data that we've researched, there's actually guesstimated about 3 million Americans that have purchased and are holding on to Iraqi dinars.
Boy, there's going to be a lot of millionaires made in this country.
A lot of good changes, we're hoping.
You got it.
Thanks for having me on, Bill.
It's a pleasure. Tell everybody I said hello. We'll be in touch. You stay in touch, my friend.
Will do.
I'm Bill Boshiers. This is the Scizone. And this week we've got a couple of movies to go to. One is Forbidden Kingdom with Jet Li and another guy, Jet somebody. A couple of guys going to do some martial arts. A fascinating movie, fast action. You'll like it. Forbidden Kingdom. That's Wednesday, the 16th. And then there's another one, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Should be an exciting movie. It's a comedy, and of course, it's lighthearted. Log onto the website, Register. You can win the tickets. We'd love to see you. We'll be looking for you at those theaters. Springdale Showcase Cinema and the Showcase Cinema in Norwood. Anyway, what we try to cover here every week is information that you're not going to find anywhere else. I know that some of you want more information about the unknown and the psychic and the things that go bump in the night. As fascinating as that is, and as much of it as there is not, I'm involved with that, and I look at it. But folks, what we're looking at is saving our country and we've birthed a nation called Iraq, and we're saving one. And if we don't take time to do it, if we always do what we always did, we'll always get what we always got. And I'm convinced that you want to keep your country, at least I do. And to be better informed, maybe this is not CNN, and maybe this isn't all the networks, but you got to admit one thing. You didn't hear any of this on your network television. It's places like Channel 38 and this talk show. This is the only live call-in talk show I know of on television. And you're a part of it right here every Saturday night. 1 minute. Glad to have you. And for those of you who are watching this on the internet and the archives, thank you. We appreciate you. Take care. Stay safe. We'll see you next week right here in the Scizone. Have a great week. By the way, we've only got 282 days left with George Bush, with 13 hours, 1 minute, and counting the seconds. Join me next week right here in the Scizone. Have a good week. And stay safe, will you? You went right out to the end, didn't you?